welcome back to my channel. So today I am gonna have to walk you guys through this vlog a little bit. So this is going to be the second part of my reading thrillers video. If you didn't see part one, basically I read the first chapter of all of my thrillers and I ranked them, and I was going to read the top three. So the top three that I picked were The Passengers by John Marrs, For Your Own Good by Samantha Downing, and Rock Paper Scissors by Alice Feeney. I have now read all of them, and I was sitting down to edit this vlog. And it's just a mess. It is a giant mess. So I'm gonna need to walk you guys through it a little bit, pop in and out to better explain things. Basically, when I was reading these, I did not have a great week. For anyone who doesn't know, I have a chronic illness and I rarely film when I'm having episodes just because it's very difficult for me, and I hate being on camera when I'm not like fully myself. But I was trying to push myself to keep filming because the amount of videos that I've had to cancel halfway through or before I even start because of my illness is way too many, and I did not want to cancel this video. So the vlogging portion of this was not the best. I'm almost hesitant to like keep some of it in just because I really don't like to be negative, or I don't like to complain, which is very difficult to do when you have an illness that causes you to be in pain the majority of the time. And one of the biggest side effects of my illness is brain fog, and I have a really hard time articulating my thoughts, which makes my job as a booktuber very, very difficult when the sole purpose of this channel is to articulate my thoughts about books. But I'm gonna do my best to piece this vlog together and guide you through it. So I read them in the order that I ranked them. So this was number 1, For Your Own Good was number 2, and Rock Paper Scissors was number 3. So the first book that I read was The Passengers by John Marrs. So to give you guys a little summary of what this book is about, because that was one of the things I failed to do, was give any type of plot summary. This basically is a sci-fi thriller that takes place in the future in the UK, where they have all of these 100% self-driving cars. A terrorist figures out how to hack into these cars and take control of them, and in order to prove a point that the self-driving cars are dangerous, they hijack the cars of I think 8 different passengers. This is the one that I was the most excited about. I have been listening to The Passengers. I've just been laying in bed listening to it on audio because I don't feel very good today. So coming at you with some very tired looking vlog content, but I'm really enjoying the audiobook so far because it is a full cast and there's like 8 or 9 different points of views. Basically, this like faceless terrorist has locked a bunch of people in these self-driving cars and like set them all on a crash collision course into each other. So they have like, I think 2 hours until all of these cars are destined to crash into each other. All of it is being filmed and like live broadcast to the world, and each of the like victims in the cars have to state their case basically of like why they deserve to live, and it seems like each of the passengers has something to hide. Like there's a reason why all of them were chosen. So yeah, it's really interesting so far. And it definitely seems like it's gonna end up being like a social experiment into the ways in which people sort of rank people based on like things like race and gender and social class and like all these preconceived ideas that people have that make them weigh one person's life as being greater than somebody else's. So if it like explores more of that conversation, I feel like this is going to be really interesting. So I'm gonna keep reading that or listening to the audiobook for that today. But I'm definitely like really invested. I'm gonna put my eye mask back on because it's very bright and it hurts my eyeballs. But I'm gonna keep listening to the audiobook like this. It's really interesting because throughout you can see like different things that are going on in the public. So for example, you can see all the hashtags that people are tweeting with and like the number of tweets. So like which is the most popular. I'm covering this because of spoilers, but at a certain point you can see like people are like voting on who they want to survive. So it's like really fucked up. But I almost feel like it's realistic. Like if something like this were to happen, people would be tweeting about it like this, and there would be hashtags on like different passengers and who they want to survive. So it's definitely adding like a realistic element to it, but like a really fucked up one. And I could totally see this being like a Black Mirror episode. So I am over the 50% mark. A couple things have happened. One, it has gone in a direction that I didn't expect it to, in a good way. Like I'm really liking where it's going and how much like social commentary that there is. And then also, I totally forgot that I was reading a thriller. So I forgot to like think about any type of twist, and then a twist happened and I was really shocked by it. Even though I probably shouldn't have been. It should have been obvious if I was thinking about it, but I like wasn't, because I was so captivated and like into the story that I just wasn't even thinking about it, which for me is a really good thing, because I always have a really big problem with thrillers, both thriller books and movies, where I get like too in my head and like thinking about it being a thriller, where I like try to figure out what the twist is before it happens, and then I always ruin it for myself because I either figure it out and so I'm no longer interested or surprised, or I come up with my own twist that I end up liking better than what actually happens. So when I can just sort of lose myself in a thriller, I think that's when I like them the most, but it is hard and I can't always do it. So I am liking that this book captivated me enough to keep me from overthinking. It also might be due to the fact that I am not having a great day, and so my brain is like working on 15% and not a lot of thoughts are going on up here. It's like head empty up there. Anyways, I'm liking the direction the story is going, but it like hit a point where now I can't, like I don't know where it's going. Like it kind of took a turn and I have no idea where it's headed, but I'm interested. That's all I wanted to say. I don't know why that was so difficult. So I ended up giving The Passengers 4 stars. I really loved this. Like I said, I was on the edge of my seat the whole time and I was so engaged with the book. Like I mentioned, I have this problem with thrillers where I just try to think about them too much and I always end up ruining it for myself, whether I figure out the plot twist or I come up with a plot twist that I like better. So the fact that I was able to just like really lose myself in this book, I think really like made me love it even more. There was this very huge aspect of the book that I haven't even touched upon. The main character that we're following is not a passenger in any of the cars. It is this woman who was called to do like jury duty for this committee that reviews accidents that the self-driving cars have in order to deem if the accident was the car's fault or human error. And so the main character is someone who was called into jury duty that day as like a civilian juror. She is now trapped in that committee room, speaking back and forth with the terrorist who has taken control of all the cars and who has tasked that jury with choosing who is going to live or die. And I really loved that aspect of it. Like I said, I feel like this would make such a good like Black Mirror episode or like a mini series. The social commentary aspect of this was really big. There was a huge emphasis on weighing people's lives against each other. Is a pregnant woman's life more important than an elderly woman, or is a husband and father more important than a mother and wife? There were some very uncomfortable discussions. This book really reminded me of a movie that I love called, I think it's called Circle. But basically it's a very similar concept where all these people wake up in this room and they go through different rounds and they have to vote in every single round who is going to die. And the way that they do that is the exact same. Like they choose to kill an elderly person over the 6-year-old girl, or they choose to kill the convict over like a pregnant woman. It's a really good movie. I think it's still on Netflix if you're interested in watching it. It brings up like a lot of interesting conversation. And yeah, this book really reminded me of that and I love that movie. So I really enjoyed this. I definitely want to read more John Marrs books in the future. I think that next I will read The One because it takes place in the same world as this book. There were parts in here I think that maybe spoiled The One, but like my eyes kind of glossed over it really quick because I knew that I wanted to read that. So this first book was successful. I really enjoyed this. It wasn't 5 stars, but it was very close, and I definitely will pick up more books from this author. So the next one I am going to start is For Your Own Good by Samantha Downing. And I don't know what it is about this cover. I just love this. I think it is like something about the spray paint like over this portrait just gives me really cool vibes. For Your Own Good. This follows a teacher at this prestigious academy, and basically he has very questionable morals. The ways in which he helps his students are very bad. Like he does bad things in the guise of being a good teacher and teaching his students lessons. He interferes in people's lives and causes chaos. So I am about 100 pages into For Your Own Good, and I'm really enjoying this. Like I said in the first part of this video, the narrator's voice in this really reminds me of Joe from You, which was probably, I think, like the first adult thriller that I ever read, and I loved it. Like, I really feel like that this main character is Joe Goldberg, but in an alternate universe where he is a professor. Like just the snarkiness and like the amount of disdain that he has for these really rich, entitled students and their parents, and the way that he views himself. He has a very like narcissistic personality, and he thinks that he is like the greatest thing ever. Like he got an award for like best teacher of the year, and it's like his prized possession, and he like does bad things to his students, but like with the twisted mentality of thinking that he's doing it to help them, which is the same exact thing that, like the same exact way that Joe views the things that he does in You. Like he will kill people and like stalk people thinking that he's helping them and like doing the right thing and that like he's a hero. This main character definitely has like a hero mentality when really he's like fucked up. So I'm enjoying it. We also get the point of view of like a bunch of other characters. So like a couple points of views of like the other teachers and some of the students. And I feel like it works really well because we're able to see the main character Teddy from other people's eyes and not just his own point of view, which like I said is just reeking of narcissism, but we're able to see him through everyone else's eyes as well, which is like completely different than he views himself. So I'm enjoying it. I am just going to keep reading today and seeing where it goes. I definitely feel like this is giving me like less thriller vibes. I feel like I would classify this more as like a dark comedy. I don't know, like there's a very comedic element to this, and it's giving more like satire, dark comedy than thriller, but like in a good way. I'm really enjoying it. So I loved this. I think I'm gonna end up giving this 4.5 stars. Like I said, I loved the narrator's voice. He really reminded me of Joe from You, which I actually just binge watched the 3rd season of You yesterday, which I think season 3 might be the best season so far. Watching that again and getting back into Joe's head, this book even reminded me more of that. I really think if you are a fan of You, you should pick this up and you'll really like it. And like I said, I really liked that we got more than one point of view and we were able to see Teddy, the main character, from other people's perspectives because his vision of himself is very misguided. I guess technically this is a thriller, but like I said, I feel like I would classify this more as a dark comedy. There was a certain point where I just could not put it down because all of the perspectives that we were following were like discovering different things, and it almost felt like that moment from The Office where like everyone is pointing finger guns at each other and like having a standoff, and I really didn't know where it was gonna go, how it was gonna end, which characters were going to end up on top. It got wild, and I really loved the ending and like the direction that it took. And yeah, like I said, I gave this 4.5 stars. I'm definitely going to read more books from Samantha Downing. Looking on her Goodreads, it does not appear that she has that many books. It looks like she only has 2 other ones. So I could very easily read her entire backlist. And yeah, I'm really glad that I read this. Such a great choice. I just got a package with a book that I was hoping would come before I did the first part of this so that I could have read it. I had ordered it, I found it used, so it took a while to ship to me, but I just got it. But it sounds really good. It's In My Dreams, I Hold a Knife by Ashley Winstead. I was actually really surprised that I found this used because I think that this just recently came out. So obviously I'm not gonna be reading this right now, but it sounds like it has a lot of the elements that I said that I liked in thrillers. So hopefully this would be one that I can read sometime soon. I'm actually really glad that I ordered this because looking at the comments from part 1 where I asked you guys to recommend me a thriller based on the things that I said I liked and I didn't like, the #1 book that people recommended was In My Dreams I Hold a Knife. The 2 booktubers that I sort of always look to for thriller recommendations are Gabby and Kayla, and Gabby actually commented on that video and told me that I would like this book. And then I just recently watched a video from Kayla where she said that this is her favorite thriller that she's read this year. So I definitely at some point want to do a 3rd part of this video reading the thrillers that you guys specifically recommended to me, and this will most definitely be one of them. But it really just sounds like it could be my perfect thriller because it's dark academia, it's possibly following the point of view of a murderer, a college reunion where 6 friends are brought back together. 10 years ago, somebody in this like friend group was murdered. Somebody has brought back this friend group and trapped them in order to force the killer, like the actual killer, to reveal themselves. So like, it's dark academia, it's a fishbowl setting, it's possibly the POV of a murderer, it's possibly revenge. It has almost everything that I had on my list. So I'm very, very hyped to read this. All right, last book I'm going to read is Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney. And hopefully this one goes just as well as the other 2 books. This had a really great first chapter. It follows a married couple who are on the rocks and they're going on this like destination weekend. They rented this like little church in Scotland in the middle of the woods, and it's all snowy and storming, and the couple are like keeping secrets from each other. One of them is lying. Sounds really cool. I am a little bit into rock, paper, scissors now, and I think that I'm really liking it. I really like this whole setting with this kind of like creepy church. There was this one part where the main character saw like somebody watching them through like the stained glass, and she freaked out over that, and then the power has gone out. There's just been like really like creepy stuff going on, and I like the setting, like the fact that they're now kind of like isolated in this place because there's been a huge snowstorm and like the snowy vibe. I'm enjoying. I love this stuff. This is the Glow Recipe Watermelon Glow Mist. I thought maybe if I came in and did my skincare. I haven't done skincare in a couple days because I just haven't felt good. But I wanted to come in, do my little skincare, and like pamper myself and try to turn this week around and not have it be something that's just like miserable, because I don't want to post a vlog where I'm just like not enjoying life. Luckily though, I think that me not feeling good hasn't been affecting my thoughts on any of these books. Sometimes I just like try not to read when I feel like this, because in the past like there have been instances where my health being bad has affected the way that I view the books that I read at that time. But I don't think that's happening right now, which is a good thing. I also think that like sometimes I just forget to like take care of myself in extra ways, and like not in like the basic necessities of like how you need to take care of yourself, but like doing like the extra things. Like, do I need to be doing this entire 10-step skincare routine every day? No, I can, you know, just wash my face and put on some moisturizer, which I do every day. But sometimes it's just nice, I think, to take those extra steps to take care of yourself. And sometimes I forget to do that. And by the way, if you're wondering, all the products that I'm using are from Glow Recipe. Not sponsored, I just really love them. But yeah, I have a theory about this book. I'm like really hoping is what actually is going on, because it would be really cool. So I think I'm not gonna read any more tonight, but depending on how I'm feeling tomorrow, I'm hoping to finish it in the morning. It's going by really quickly. I thought that showering would make me feel better, but now I'm just laying in a wet towel and I do not feel better. But Loki's right here with me. His paw. You're very cute. Anyways, this is just an update to say that I have no thoughts. Okay, so rock, paper, scissors. I think that I'm ending up giving this 3 stars. I think that this was a good book. I just don't think this is necessarily a book for me. I really loved the first half of this book. The setup was great. Like I said, we're following this married couple who have been struggling. They take a trip in Scotland to this like little like renovated church. A really interesting aspect of it is that the husband has face blindness, so he can't like determine people's faces. Another cool aspect of this book is that every few chapters there is a letter from the wife to the husband that she wrote on all of their anniversaries, and they were letters that she never gave to him. I was enjoying this book up until a certain point. I think that like the atmosphere was really great, and I really loved kind of like the spooky vibes that was going on in this like old church. And I really liked sort of like the cat and mouse game that the husband and wife were playing with each other. They both had a lot of secrets that they were keeping from each other, and they both had like very different goals, I guess, for this trip. However, I think that two different things happened that caused me to not like this book. One is I did the dreaded thing. I came up with my own plot twist that I liked so much better than what happened. And I ruined it for myself. I liked my version of the story that I had built up in my head, and I was so sure that what I thought was gonna be the plot twist was actually gonna be the plot twist. I was so convinced, and then it wasn't, and I was really disappointed. And then two, I think that I have discovered another thing that I don't like in thrillers, and that is too many plot twists. There was not one, not two, not three. There was like, I lost count at how many plot twists there was. And at a certain point, it just became very convoluted for me. And it was like each new plot twist, I was just like, huh? And I was thinking about it. I totally understand how with thrillers, like from an author perspective, it can be so like the pressure to always have like a bigger and better plot twist with every book, and like a plot twist that's never been done before must be a lot. And so a way to combat that is to just have like tons of plot twists and make it like wild and crazy. And for people who are very seasoned thriller readers, if you've read like tons and tons of thrillers, I'm sure like it becomes hard to get very excited over plot twists. So something like this where there's like tons and it just gets really wild and crazy is probably very exciting. However, for me, it just really took me out of the story and made it like unbelievable. So I really didn't like the end of this book, but I don't know, I don't think it was bad. Like, I still would recommend it if you're looking for a thriller. Like, I gave it 3 stars. I just don't think it was particularly the thriller for me. And it's interesting too, because on part 1, I was looking at the comments, and the book that the people commented the most on was this one. Everyone kind of unanimously said that they love this. So clearly I'm in the minority, and my opinion does not matter at all. Overall, this was not a bad reading week because we have a 4-star, a 4.5 star, and a 3-star. And I enjoyed all of them. I had a fun time reading all of them, even though health-wise I was miserable. These books were a very good distraction. And I feel like I always struggle to read when my health is really bad because, like I said, a really big symptom is brain fog, and I have a hard time focusing. However, I found that with reading thrillers while I was like in that brain fog state, for some reason I was able to like still focus because they were keeping me on the edge of my seat, and like every single chapter ended on like a little cliffhanger, and they held my attention. So maybe I have just cracked the code, and now forever when I am having brain fog symptoms, I will just read thrillers. So that is going to conclude this video. Sorry that this vlog was not the best. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!